Welcome to the URBONUS podcast, guys. I am the host,
welcome.
Donatas URBONUS, and I'm joined by two gentlemen, Kostas Sloukas and Gytis Blaževičius.
Hello, everyone.
up?
Hi, Donatas. Nice to have you back here.
It's good to be back, at least for a few days here in Lithuania. I'm heading back to Istanbul to finish or to follow Monaco and Fenerbahce series.
To finish immediately.
We'll discuss about that later. I just have some gifts for you, actually. Some sweets
Finally.
from
First
the
time.
airport.
Oh,
I have some sweets from the airport.
really?
For you.
How much did that cost you?
Did you pay some money for it?
Yeah, just to make it clear, it's been paid. I've paid for it. There's footage that proves that I've paid for this. For
You have
these
the receipt?
sweets. No receipt, nothing.
I don't know about that then.
We can check master cameras or under the cashier.
What are you
cameras.
implying? Are you saying that the EuroLeague mafia has made their way to the airports now and are now actually committing crimes? The EuroLeague mafia is in action? Is that what you're saying?
It's actually a little bit funny, but at the same time, it might be a sad thing to talk about since we don't know all the details.
It's not funny.
Maybe
to
give
me.
some
I don't know.
context. Maybe give some context to the listeners.
The
That
hottest thing of Friday, actually. Not even Fenerbahce and Monaco game, probably.
So
Definitely not Baskonia and Real Madrid.
facts are that the EuroLeague referee was caught stealing in Belgrade airport. Stealing a...
Allegedly, yeah.
Is it allegedly if it's
he
on
was
CCTV?
detained, but allegedly for stealing. I mean, that's what.
Okay,
will
let's
be
say
cleared
allegedly
out.
for now. Yeah, for sure.
EuroLeague is doing the investigation,
Okay.
which probably means that since the investigation is ongoing, Mate Boltauzer, who was actually officiating in the game one between Maccabi and Panathinaikos, he might be ruled out for the entire of the season, because if that was the case with Boris Rizik, when there was this bribe attempt investigated. Of course, two different topics, two different situations. The weight of those things is difficult. We're talking about the EuroLeague as an organization, big damage coming from those allegations. And there's this, I would say, more personal thing that Mate Boltauzer is going through. But this is another angle which I actually suggest you to expand on our Give Me Control show. We addressed this issue with Todd Warnick on our latest Give Me Control episode. Subscribe to Beyond Plus on basketnews.com/plus to watch the entire Give Me Control episodes. The one that I'm talking about right now will be published on Monday night, probably.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this whole case?
What, Augustus, you have any thoughts? I have some.
You go.
I'm thinking, like you said, it's a personal issue. First thought that came to my mind was like, how much do these guys make? How much do these referees make so that he needs to steal a bottle of perfume that's like 200 euros, I've bought perfume for that much for my girlfriend once. It didn't feel nice, but I still didn't even consider stealing it. Even more so in an airport full of security cameras, which I thought was, what the hell? Like, how do you even come up with an idea like that? Like, airport probably the worst place you could even attempt such a thing. But anyways, like I'm
what
obviously
would be your ranking of
joking.
4 places?
That's not what But what I'm saying is, it was odd. I thought about the money first, but then another thought right away was like, this is probably not the first time this is my, guess. It's not facts or anything. It's just my opinion. Usually people, when they have a problem, they have, kleptomania is called, you have this problem, you just... It's a mental... Well, it's, I don't know if it's an illness or it's a disorder or whatever you call it.
Disorder is a better wording, probably.
But it's just that, I think, and it's nothing to do with the EuroLeague referees' salaries, because what is it like?
Okay, 5 years ago, it was 1.5 thousand euros before taxes, but let's say it's 1,000 per regular season game. Maybe in the playoffs, the salaries are bigger. And again, it was 5 years ago. Maybe these salaries increased even more.
Yeah.
Probably around 2K now.
QK would be too much, I think.
But if it was 1.5
5
years ago.
Taxes included.
Taxes before taxes, yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. It was really strange to actually see that happening, as you mentioned, in the airport with all the security cameras. I really don't think it has anything to do with how much he makes, because I think he makes just enough, and probably more because
More than
he
enough.
referees not only in the EuroLeague game. So it's just to me it was a sad moment, because you damaged the reputation of the EuroLeague referees that have been already, on a radar, let's say on a hot seat in this season, and
of course the
it's not
timing is
helping.
different because this happened in December. I think it happened actually after Partizan and Monaco game, which was played.
You mean
December.
the other incident of
This incident of Boltauzer stealing stuff?
Oh, this is not.
This video footage was leaked only now.
Oh,
but it happened in December. We're talking about something that happened 5-6 months ago.
Yeah, that makes sense, because why would he be in Belgrade right now? Yeah, I didn't even clock that.
and this footage gets leaked out almost 72 hours after this infamous Maccabi and Panathinaikos game. That's a little bit suspicious,
Coincidence, right?
At the same time, I don't think that
after Panathinaikos made that statement.
And at the same time, Boltauzer is not LeBron James, that you would identify him instantly, when you watch the footage. If you're the security guy and you see this happening, he's not the most famous person.
Somebody probably waited for,
the right moment.
The right
You
moment
think
to leak it. I don't know.
If this happened in December.
I think we're just speculating a lot
and
here.
It's the playoffs. Yeah, we are speculating at the moment right now, but it's just what I wanted to say is that it's not great for not only for him, but as for the EuroLeague referees.
But how many steals do you think he averages in an airport?
By the way, Matt Janning tweeted, "Dude, been stealing for years, so it means the average was pretty high. EuroLeague has a ton of great refs, but this dude was easily the worst, and it isn't hard to look and see why." The Los Angeles Clippers director of international pro scouting, Ermal Kuko, replied, "Sorry for a bad pronunciation if that's the case. I don't mind bad refs. We're all human. The worst kind of are the ones who are very good and officiate maliciously. He's one of them." So,
Ooh, not great reviews about his refereeing either.
Not a 5-star recommendations, right? So, that's the sad part of the EuroLeague playoffs. But the rest of the series were really exciting. Today we're going to discuss all 4 playoff matchups. A lot of interesting things happening. A lot of interesting things we're going to witness this week. And also, Željko Obradović, probably the GOAT of European coaching, got 2-year extension in the Partizan. So we'll discuss Partizan potential off-season moves as well. So let's start from Panathinaikos Maccabi. It was April 25th day, and until that night, April 25th was known for World Penguins Day, also National DNA Day. It was the day of Al Pacino's birthday. But I would announce April 25 as the official Kostas Sloukas Day. Career high, 29 points, 12 of 16 shooting, 4 assists. And I have to be honest, I rarely seen a combination of dominance performance, the influence on a decisive run in the second quarter, 11 straight points, and a quarter won by 20. The importance of the game, the connection with the fans, the celebration between the player and the local crowd, 19,000 people. Sloukas was like in the theater, showing the appreciation for the support that he got. His name has been, chanted all over the place. Huge moment for Sloukas. Because if Baldwin won't join Maccabi until the rest of the end of the series, and Panathinaikos close the series in Belgrade, and this run will be breaking point of the series, that will be just another iconic Kostas Sloukas playoff moment.
Yeah, I think we're talking about history, that 8-point possession that we saw. Of course, the unsportsmanlike foul under the rim was a bit, I don't know. It It was a hit.
It was
in
a
the
good
face.
call.
Yeah. Oh, did you discuss this? Obviously.
We didn't, but Todd said it was a good call, and usually every time you touch somebody's face, you hit the face, it's almost instant unsportsmanlike foul.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I also thought that was.
Yeah. To me, it was
I'm not saying it's a bad call. I'm just saying how crucial it was. It was. I just didn't see it initially.
It made this 8-point possession happen.
Yeah. But what you said, 11 points in a row is nothing short of history. And in general, this whole series for Kostas Sloukas, even though we were talking about that one turnover, the other game, he's averaging right now 20.5 points. Of course, these are not going to be the numbers after the series. I would assume, at least, because these are outrageous numbers.
Costas is hot, so he might stay around this number.
Yeah, 68 from the field, 68% from the field, 8.5 assists per game. So this is incredible. I mean, MVP level. You don't give an MVP for the playoffs, but they should have something. I
think Panathinaikos fans trying to get into our studio.
As soon as drilling through.
Doubted Kostas Sloukas' ability to keep up with these numbers. They're like, okay, we already found them. They're just gonna be disappointed because Rytis is not here.
But guys, this is why Panathinaikos, first signing was Sloukas, basically the big signing. I don't know if we should continue doing this.
I don't know. Let's take a time out. Okay. Sorry, I had to use my fists with these fans, but no, I'm kidding.
This guy never punched anybody in his life.
Only anyways. Where we were before this break.
I wanted to say
Sloukas. Yes.
I wanted to say that this is why Panathinaikos signed Sloukas. This is why they wanted him, because of the playoff experience. I mean, how many times have you seen Sloukas hit a game-winning jump shot? This time he didn't need one, but he made all the right shots. He's on an insane form, insane shape recently, even in the latter part of the regular season. And he had one turnover, I think, in 70 minutes. In the first 70 minutes of this series, he had one turnover, and he had 17 assists and around 40 points. That's just insane numbers. And he made a lot of spot-up shots. Like, he didn't create all of those. I thought Kendrick Nunn, was closed, and we'll talk about Kendrick Nunn, I think, later. But Kendrick Nunn saw two before him. Then he made short pass to Matthias Lazor, and I think Lazor made a lot of great passes to Sloukas, who hit wide open 3-pointers playing in that closeout situation. And then in the second half, Sloukas just rejecting the screens, going all the way, pull-up jumpers, just can't score from anywhere on the court. And I think his experience, his wish and desire this summer to be the guy is, right now we are seeing that, and I think he's really happy because he can do all of that, in a different team.
Yeah, and he's the guy instantly. He was signed as the captain of the team. Sometimes he runs the timeout process on Panathinaikos bench. Actually, he's taking all the responsibility on himself. And I didn't participate, in this previous podcast, but it was really a bad moment for Sloukas playing this amazing game one, and to have this one crucial turnover that basically just ruled out the job that he did before that moment. But yeah, amazing series for Sloukas.
And also we were talking about this second quarter and that run of 11 points by him, but even in the moments in the fourth quarter where you remember that 8-0 run by Maccabi in the beginning of the quarter. It was like, what is happening? This 8-0 run was faster than the one before, almost, it seemed like. And Kostas Sloukas was there to put out those fires. He found Lazort under the rim against Bonzi Colson in a mismatch situation. He hit a midi, I think, pulled up for a midi, and then from a 3-point lead, they went back up for 7 or 8 points or whatever. So, and then in the last minutes as well, when it seemed like, okay, there's 12 points left, 2-3 minutes left to go, it was Sloukas who just made sure that Maccabi does not get back into this game. So
he closed the door.
Yeah,
because Maccabi were trying to come back in that game.
This team is resilient. I mean, their character, the start of the game, I think that at some point of the second quarter, fans were really I wouldn't say scared, but they were confused of what was happening.
Maybe a little bit.
Concern, yeah. Concern is the right word. Jay Cohen, scoring 12 quick points. Maccabi, of course, it was, I would say, not very sustainable. Maccabi business model in the first half. You could predict that Panathinaikos will bounce back, but I mean, it was amazing playing without Wade Baldwin to have this lead before Sloukas and this run happened. That was also a nice game for Maccabi.
There was tension, I think, in Oaxaca because without Baldwin, probably I think they expected to win a little easier than they did. Okay, they won by 16 points. That's the gap is wide, but for those who did not see the game, it can look huge. But Maccabi were having, had like 2 opportunities to really run away with the game, and because they had inertia and all that stuff. But what basically clinched the game, we mentioned only Sloukas, but I think we have to talk about Giannis Papapetrou.
Oh yeah.
And before the series, I mentioned that Marius Grigonis could have a hard time, and now with Juancho also out, Ataman went to Giannis Papapetrou because he's a bigger body against Bonzi Colson, and he can knock down those spot-up shots as well. I mean, we didn't see much of those shots from him last season or this season. He played only 3 minutes in the game 1. Now he played 27, and main reason was because in the second quarter, when Maccabi were leading, the lineup of Sloukas, Nunn, Papapetrou, Mitoglou, and Lazor outscored Maccabi 29-10 in 8 minutes. Like end of second quarter, start of the third quarter, Ergin Ataman played the same lineup because it worked. And Papapetrou were knocking down those huge spot-up shots. And basically, having him on the court instead of Grigonis eliminated the possibility for Bonzi Colson to go just in the post one-on-one and to basically set the screen and allow Brown to attack. So it is huge. And
as much as Maccabi lacked of Wade Baldwin, they really missed Bonzi Colson. I mean, I remember I was doing notes of game 1 and I put all these good things about Bonzi Colson, and my idea was like, he's the free man that Panathinaikos are looking at actually. If they cut Juancho Hernan-Gomez after the season, of course, Bonzi is under the contract with Maccabi, but if there's a chance, I would go for Bonzi Colson, because he proved that he can be real efficient and a good player in a team full of great ball handlers. And their concept of the team that they have kind of reminds me of Maccabi. And what Panathinaikos did, first of all, with Giannis Papapetrou bringing a bigger body to contain Carlson. But it was also Marius Grigonis from the first few minutes. He was really aggressive, denying the ball, not letting Bonzi Colson to get those post-up situations. And I've just checked post-up stats of Bonzi Colson. They are just tremendous. He's top 24 in post-ups made in the EuroLeague, but his percentage from these possessions is just crazy because he scores around 1.3 points per possession in post-up situations, which translates into 66%. And it's the third best among this top 24 group, just after Mustafa Fall and Nikola Mirotic. So that's huge what Bonzi Colson can offer, and that's huge what Panathinaikos took away from Maccabi, from Bonzi Colson. You can also add that he didn't make those tough 3-pointers that he actually did in game 1. And, it was a 16-point game. Bonzi Colson scored 18 points on 12 shots in game 1. He scored only 6 points on 6 shots in game 2, playing 35 minutes, and we're talking about 12 points that they were missing in a 16-point loss, and in a game where Wade Baldwin was sidelined. So it was as huge as having Sloukas having this great night.
And I mean, I don't know if we need to talk about the usual suspects of Maccabi. Lorenzo Brown is playing phenomenal series so far, even though he lacks help. But Antonius Cleveland. Really surprising, right?
Stepped up in absence of Wade Baldwin.
Yeah. That's a guy I wanted to give a shout out to. And Tamir Blatt's 3-pointers from way outside. That was something to watch as well.
Were you in that podcast when I mentioned, I think EuroLeague made a stat, I think in February? He has the longest average
like a
3-pointer.
Yeah.
He made the longest threes basically in EuroLeague on average.
Nice.
Because he's a short guy. So often he has to just shoot from way behind to have some space. And he's not afraid. He is not afraid to launch those 3-pointers. I mean, the way he's just pulling up at any time is impressive.
He'll have to do that a lot now. If
Wade
the
Baldwin
rumors
does not
are
play.
true, Wade Baldwin is
he's doubtful for game 3 and game 4.
Yeah.
So that's huge. And I think that they have to be more aggressive in trying to make great situations for Bonzi Colson. That was something I was missing in this game. I was missing of Antonius Cleveland being assigned to try to stop Kostas Sloukas. I didn't think that Maccabi defense did anything special to try at least to contain him in that game. I was lacking of some reactions or adjustments in the second half as well. So maybe it was because, Panathinaikos is playing a big lineup, and to assign Antonius Cleveland coming from position 3 to guard Kostas Sloukas, it was a big leverage for Maccabi, especially missing all these players. But that was something that I was like, okay, they need to adjust for game 3 to improve their chances to win the game.
And another thing that Pau did greatly, I mentioned after game 1, I said Maccabi had 14 more field goals than Panathinaikos because of offensive rebounds and turnovers. And Maccabi is number 1 in offensive rebound percentage this season in the EuroLeague. And I said, Pau can't allow second chances for this team. You can't allow the opposing team to have more shots than you when you're playing at home. And Pau fixed that. They allowed 5 less offensive rebounds for Maccabi, so that's already 5 less possessions if we compare to game 1. They forced 5 more turnovers, 6 and 11, so that's 10 already. And Panathinaikos themselves committed 2 less turnovers than in game 1, so that's 12 shots that they basically cut, because the shooting percentages, if you watch the shooting percentages, basically similar, more or less. And for Panathinaikos, they made 24 2-pointers, 11 threes, but the percentages of free throws also a little bit better. But field goal percentage is basically the same. They did not have more shots. It's just that they cut the opportunities for Maccabi, and it was enough.
Do you see Panathinaikos closing the series in Belgrade if Wade Baldwin is not playing?
If Wade Baldwin is not playing, I think so. I don't know where Maccabi can get, where Maccabi has more, if Wade Baldwin is out. I think they played an amazing 2 games in Oaxaca.
Given the circumstances, yeah.
Giving everything, finding the right weaknesses, finding the right weak spots. But on Panathinaikos side, I see Kendrick Nunn that I think still will have a word on this series, because he will be playing in probably an empty gym, and by now he will have figured it out. And I think Maccabi is doing a great job with him, but I think he will have his word. So I just think Pau have a little bit more upside left than Maccabi if Wade Baldwin is not playing. But if he's playing, that changes everything. I think this series then is going back to Athens.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys?
I think, there's this weird home advantage they have. 13-4 at home in the regular season. They won the play-in game as well in Belgrade, but I think when the playoffs are here, this is not something to think about how they did in the past. And I think it's about Baldwin. I don't want to repeat what you just said, but if I had to guess, I would go with the series ending there. If by some miracle they split a game, and the series goes back to Athens, I think we shouldn't predict that far, but then I would still favor Panathinaikos anyways in this series, regardless if it's 3-2 or 3-1.
I don't think I don't think you mentioned miracle. I don't think miracle is the right word, because these teams are close. Of course, Baldwin is a huge loss. Every time he drives into the paint, he sees 3 defenders. He draws fouls. That's why we saw
huge decrease in the free throw numbers on Maccabi side.
Yeah, from 27 to 8. Of course, Pau also complained about the refs, but Wade Baldwin was the main reason why they didn't have why they have 19 less free throws in game 2. So I don't think they need a miracle, but yeah, it's tough.
Close to it, in my opinion. Because what Donatas was talking about defensively. You know, when you don't have Wade Baldwin there, you're left with Lorenzo Brown, and then you have to use your other guards.
Bartolomeo.
Bartolomeo or
Cleveland.
Or Cleveland at the 3 or Blatt. Anyways, those guys are when you start putting those guys on bigger guys. If you want to put Cleveland on Kostas Sloukas, you're gonna have other disadvantages. So I just don't know what they're gonna do defensively without Wade Baldwin.
Yeah, you lack size, you lack scoring effort of Wade Baldwin, you lack all EuroLeague team players. So I will be super surprised if Sirius returns to Oaxaca.
Guys, we have a problem in the EuroLeague. I cannot buy my favorite players' jerseys. You know who my favorite player is?
I have no clue. Alec Peters?
I also don't know, so that's why.
No, Osmani.
Yes. So I want to buy his jersey, right? But there's no shop. There's no online store I could order it from.
Well, there is something, but...
Yeah, they do it through Amazon, but we need an official store. And if they're not going to do it, we got to do it ourselves.
Right now?
Yeah, I mean, do we have an expert on this table who can create a website for Rytis to get all the Panathinaikos fans to write to him? Maybe there's a guy on this table who could do the website for the shop.
This guy is known for being an expert, right?
Talking about me?
Come on, let's get working on it, I think.
All right.
And
I already started making that, to be honest.
All right, that's cool.
How much time do I have?
Yeah, 2-3 minutes we'll give you.
All right. I will do it with
the Hostinger AI website builder?
Exactly.
Well, that's what I would expect from you, knowing that they have this tool there, which is very helpful. I think even if we gave Donatas a few times to try it, I think even Donatas would create a decent one.
And it was amazing because it's crazy. Usually before you need at least 4 or 5 guys to make this website idea happen actually.
Reality,
and now we're just here talking about basketball, and there's Augustas creating a website in 5 minutes by himself, or more specifically by Hostinger website builder, right?
Yeah. And if you want to do a business of any kind, like the EuroLeague store, like we're talking about, you need a website. And like you said, 4 people. You used to need someone to code it, someone to design it, someone to write the SEO friendly copy, like so that you're getting discovered. Also, you need a designer to create your logos, all of that thing.
Takes days, weeks, or months to create a proper website.
Everything. And here, Hostinger is giving you, at least as a starting point, using AI to help you to start your website. Maybe it won't be perfect right away, but if you give it an hour or 2, customize a little bit, you forget about all this, coding, all of that web design stuff. You just need to,
And it's so easy because there is this drag and drop function, which I loved a lot. It was so easy to do some
for a toddler
changes.
Like you.
Why you don't need any, guys behind the computer to create logos or whatever, because there's this AI tool that helps you to create logos, headlines, CAO-friendly texts, descriptions for every page that you want to create. So it makes it so easy that I was really intrigued in creating any kind of, website, although I didn't need at that time. And I was like, okay, maybe this is a tool to me to think about creating something for my future.
And what's fun as well, if you're feeling like the AI, because the AI is sometimes unpredictable. You never know what it's gonna come up with. Maybe it doesn't look like what you wanted. There's over like 150 designer-made templates that you can use. And those are gonna be with the human touch. And then you can customize them to look different from the others. So I feel like, all of it is when it's all in one, and also when you have the hosting services with Hostinger, then you literally don't need to think about anything. You got everything in one spot. And how is that website going?
And you know what? We have a 10% discount for all hosting plans by using a code BNews10.
And a free domain. And a free domain.
That's great.
Included. So,
okay, guys.
We'll see now Augusta's website. You will see that on your screen right now.
Master camera.
Let's see if it okay.
Okay, all right.
You can check it out for yourselves, guys.
All right.
What do you think
So
about
got
this?
Milano as the front page for some reason.
No, but here we have the spicy stuff.
Yeah.
You have Olympiacos, you have Crvena Zvezda,
Panathinaikos.
Kostas Sloukas with Panathinaikos. I chose him, you know. And then you have another section where you have customer reviews. And this is what you can do in 5 minutes.
That wasn't even 5 minutes, I don't think. That was faster than 5 minutes.
So yeah, it was super easy. I just wrote a prompt, I changed some pictures, and basically all the work was done by Hostinger AI website builder.
Don't miss out. BNews 10.
What about the other series? Barcelona tied the series in game 2.
Were you guys surprised or by this?
I mean, not really. To go back to Peace and Friendship Stadium, having an advantage of 2-0 would be crazy. So, you know...
But you guys said 3-1 Olympiacos.
I mean, yeah, Olympiacos in 4.
Yeah.
So it perfectly makes sense what I meant about this series. Olympiacos winning 1 and then closing the series at home.
So you would still stick with the...
Although, I mean, I'm sticking with my prediction, but, I mean, this game 2 experience was a bit concerning to me. I mean, it was a really low-level performance by Olympiacos, and mostly, I think we're going to talk about shooting, right?
I don't know. I want to talk
Turning
about
the ball over
turnovers.
also.
Turning the ball over 19 times, or having Thomas Walkup going 1 of 8 from the 3-point line.
That
and
too.
in general,
Does this surprise you in the playoff series?
not at all. And that's the issue that they will have to go through until the end of the series, and that's a big challenge to overcome. Not with Thomas Walkup shooting, especially when they were missing Kostas Papanikolaou. That was huge. So I mean, these series are going to be interesting.
I don't know. I think it finishes in Piraeus because, you know, the change of venues is huge. I think, but as every team that lost game 1, every loser started the game with insane physicality. Like, look at this. Monaco, we will talk about them later, but started the game by pressuring Fenerbahce like, I don't know, like crazy. Fenerbahce couldn't pass the half court for a couple of first possessions. Barcelona did the same. They were pressuring Olympiacos so much they barely can get into their offense. They were turning the ball over. They were shooting bad shots in the end of possessions. And then Barcelona went on transition opportunities, and which they want to do because Olympiacos' half-court defense is great. And they scored 12 points out of 27 in the first quarter in transition only, in the fast break. La Provitola pulling up, Jabari Parker hitting those shots, Kalinic having a layup, and Jabari himself had only 8 points in transition. So I thought they came out with a purpose because they knew that it's a must-win for them. If you lose both games at home, you can't expect to go back again to Barcelona. So I thought they did a great job in the beginning, setting the tone. Olympiacos never really got into any rhythm. And I think in the first quarter, they missed 9 free-pointers between Walkup and Kanan, only in the first quarter.
Oh yeah, in the first quarter, stats were crazy. They were 2 from 12 from 3, and they attempted only 5 field goals. And they ended up, which is bad for Olympiacos, especially when you have Walkup shooting 8 threes. They attempted more threes, 27, than twos, 23. They shot 78% from 2, 30% from 3, but if we combine those turnovers, Barca won the offensive boards by 15 and 9. Barca had 68 field goal attempts compared to Olympiacos just 50. So these are numbers that makes you impossible to win the game.
I'll throw in another stat: 25-5 in favor of Barcelona when it comes to points of turnovers. 25-5. That's 20 points more just off turnovers of those possessions where they turn the ball over. And Olympiacos now for 2 games in a row have turned over the ball 19 times, and both times 7 times in the fourth quarter. Okay. So 7 mistakes in your crucial quarter of the game. And all these, the thing is, like, maybe, well, I think I don't even need the expert opinion from Augustus here. I'm seeing just reckless passing sometimes, just bad decisions from, I mean, well, we can go with names, but Thomas Walkup definitely is not having his series right now. You talked about shooting, but also just the turnovers he had were just either really obvious passes that were, the guy was in the passing lane, he's giving the pass away. Some passes went to the out of bounds. Shaq McKissick as well, balls slipping out of his hands or passes to the crowd. And I talked exactly the same lines in the first game as well. I was talking exactly the same things, that they were just recklessly turning over the ball, but somehow with 19 turnovers last time, they managed to win. Barcelona had 17 that game as well. So in this game, this was a big difference, I think, and the biggest difference. Another thing I saw is what Bartzokas actually mentioned in the halftime interview. He said, we're giving too many points in the paint. And I think, again, Augustus, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Barcelona, with both Vesely and Hernan Gomez, are very dangerous and doing a very good job of drawing out foul. Right, whoever's in as a center for Olympiacos at that moment, they draw them out of the paint, and there's nobody left in the paint to protect the rim, and that's where Barcelona is taking all the advantages, and I think that's a big factor as well as the turnovers in this game.
I think we have to give credit to Roger Grimau, because I mentioned that I didn't see anything basically in game one. They just played the same way they did the whole regular season. In game two, there were more more accents, I think, where to attack. We saw Jan Vesely missing. Okay, he missed a couple of mid-ranges, but this was purposeful possessions on the offense. And they got what they wanted. I think they wanted, to get the switch with Alec Peters. So you have a bigger guy against Kanan, Walkup, whatever, but you need help. I think, as I mentioned, we saw a couple of going under the screen with Thomas Walkup a couple of times, but also at the same time they're killing. Their pick and roll defense is just amazing with their hedging, and more physicality are already mentioned. They just basically constrain Olympiacos for playing half-court offense. They were overplaying everywhere, super aggressively, and Olympiacos were not ready to punish them. I think, because when you have guy close to you, what you need to do is just attack. And Olympiacos are trying to run their offense, and then they have to shoot the last second shot with 3 seconds remaining, and then it's a transition opportunity. So, because at the same time, there were 3 non-shooters on the court. You have Walkup, you have Sigma, you have Mustafa Fall, and if Isaiah Kanan, imagine, is playing pick and roll in the middle, and you have Walkup and Sigma, you can just pack the paint and force them to play in the closeout situations. And they were not punishing that. So I think it was a great game from Barcelona, but at the same time, by playing this great game at home, Olympiacos were really close. They were not that far away, even by playing this low level of basketball, as you mentioned. So this is why I think it's still Olympiacos serious. And now with 2 games going to Piraeus, they have all the chances.
And you know why Roger Grimau deserves credit? I think he's one of the main reasons why Jabari Parker is having a season that he's having right now. 24 points on 10 of 16 shooting, 5 rebounds. I mean, he was huge with his size in a post-up, size and rebounding, providing 2 extra second chances for his team. I mean, shooting those in some situations unpredictable, but as we got used to him, kind of predictable shots. I mean, that's Jabari Parker's style. Breaking down the set and just making isolation shots or playing face-to-face to the basket. But, I just thought that Jabari is having a great season. We didn't expect him to have such an impact. And it has to go with Roger Grimau as well, because if you put him under a lot of other head coaches in the EuroLeague, they would try to put him in some kind of a box, and we wouldn't see Jabari having those, one-on-one improvisations, starting from the perimeter. And that's where Barca was known for playing kind of a freestyle basketball. And also Roger Grimau is not hard coach. He's not getting hard at Jabari Parker as well. And I had this interview with Jabari. I listened to his thoughts when he got this extension from Barcelona. He extended for 2 more years. Amazing move for Barca in this kind of a difficult stretch 4 market. They basically won a lottery ticket. They won a lottery with Jabari Parker, the guy who was offered to teams like Lietkabelis last year, and he's providing some really good minutes. So Roger was not hard on him, and Jabari didn't need hard coaching. He just needed to enjoy basketball again, just to feel himself, just to play minutes and find his way how to be efficient and important on European basketball scene, which is many times very challenging for NBA guys, even if they're coming with this history. So kudos to Jabari, kudos to the front office of Barcelona, signing him for 2 more years. I heard that his salary should be around 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 million euros per season. So it's quite decent contract for a really important player of Barcelona.
I just wanted to say, seeing Jabari hoop at this level, it makes me so happy. We all criticized this signing, and we were questioning Jabari. And of course you do that because the guy played 29 games in the last 3 years in the NBA. So it was normal, everybody had questions. But the way he's responded, the way he's playing, the way Roger Grimau dealt with his situation, it is just amazing to see. I'm so happy that the guy, after 2 ACL injuries to the same leg, is still hooping at such a high level. He's so productive in the things that he does, the spot ups, the transition opportunities, the occasional one-on-one plays. It's really nice. It makes your heart warm seeing Jabari hoop at this level.
I think also because Kemba was another signing of a similar situation. That's why you coupled both of them in the summer thinking, oh, we're just now signing these guys with no knees from the NBA. That's what's happening. I think that was the narrative more because both of them were in a package deal, and that's why the reactions were like that. But maybe it was logical to think that until we got proven otherwise. So pretty much,
I think so.
You can't expect him to go into Europe first season and look the way he does. But okay, guys. Donatas, sorry.
You want to add something about this series?
Just to ask about the outcome as we planned. So just to ask what you think about how is it gonna go in Piraeus?
Just my last random thought that I had about Nikola Provitola. I love the player. He was always this nasty guy on Barcelona team, coached under Šaras. And this was the thing that I noticed when he was playing for Šaras, his screens that he's setting for shooters, for other players, and to get those players into the post-up situations if they need, or to get somebody on the three-point line to score threes. And that's what I've noticed as well in these games against Olympiacos, the efficiency of his screens, the way he reads those situations. He's so brilliant, and I just decided during this pod to check the stats on Instat, and there's top 100 in screen assists in the EuroLeague, and basically the entire top 100 is based on power forward, centers, frontline players. The guards comes at the play in 80s or 90s, and we're talking about 3 Olympiacos guys because of the system: Isaiah Cannon, Thomas Walkup, Nigel Williams-Goss. There is Scottie Wilbekin and Marko Guduric, also because it's Šaras style, and of course there is Nikola Provitola, being in that top 100 with screen assists. So just my random thoughts and suggestion to take a look how he's creating opportunities for his teammates.
Yeah, because you would never find this in the box score, You don't see this in the box score, so it's something to look at.
And my prediction, I still stick with Olympiacos in 4, although I'm a little bit more concerned than I was before the series.
I think it will come down to those turnovers, to be honest. If they can, I don't know if the home crowd will put more or less pressure, to not turn the ball over like that. But it's just uncharacteristic of Thomas Walkup to just let that ball go so many times. And I feel like maybe it was just what did they say? The exception to the rule more than the rule. That this is the 19 turnovers is what Olympiacos is going to average. So I would say I would just not write off Barcelona just because they're playing away. We just saw the defense they showed, the aggressive and the offensive adjustments they had. So I wouldn't write them off. I would predict that the series will come back to Barcelona at 2-2.
Yeah, okay. They will reduce number of turnovers, that's for sure. I'm not sure if Papanikolaou is playing. To me, he's huge because with him, you don't need to play some other guys. Thomas Walkup, they might be smarter using him in some situations. What's that one?
That was a
some
shady
other guys,
dig.
bro.
Yeah. Like,
So I mean, a lot
Where
of
was that?
these things are doable, as well as improving the fight under the board. So they're
what
in a
about
good
you,
situation.
August?
3-1 Olympiacos.
Sticking with that. Okay.
Monaco Fenerbahce.
I think we're talking about the series of the playoffs so far, at least for me. Both games. What did you think?
I would agree. If
I would
Bate
go
Baldwin
with-
didn't go down, these would for sure be the series of the playoffs.
No, if Baldwin didn't go down, then Panathinaikos would be. You're saying.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but now I'm saying the Monaco Fenerbahce is the series of the playoffs. We had an overtime, and now we had essentially a game winner. Okay, it wasn't a game winner.
Dagger.
Like, a
Very
dagger.
high scoring game.
Yeah.
It was the second highest scoring first half in the playoff history.
Yeah. So I think this for me is the series, and I really. Why don't you?
He's not impressed.
Pau Maccabi over
Not
this.
impressed.
I love this series tactically.
Mm-hmm.
Great games, but I don't know. It's just Pau Maccabi feels a little.
But it's because they played in Monaco so far. They're
And
gonna
because
go
of
to
the outside
Istanbul. It's
noise
gonna
that
be
these
different.
series like we're
Of
getting
course,
before the series.
more
and during the
storylines
series,
in Pau Maccabi than here. But the
yeah,
level,
you're right. Yeah.
the level here is amazing. Great series also. Just for me, it's in the second place.
And I just think that Fener might regret this game 2 experience,
They
because
had the series basically.
they had 9-point lead to start the fourth quarter.
Exactly.
They have Mike James playing his lowest scoring game of the season. They have Mike James scoring as many as 0 points in the fourth quarter. You cannot ask for a better situation to steal 2 games away, playing
I
away.
don't care about your 0 points when he created 18 of his assists.
That
This is
was
a different
important.
thing.
That was important, but it wasn't the best version of Mike James. I think that Fener did really good job
Again.
at making him nervous, irritated in some situations. Of course, 2 quick fouls helped a lot to take him out of the game. And because, what I remembered about him the last playoff series was of what a great leader he was for his team. He was also solid in game 1, despite his numbers. At least he controlled the game on himself, I think, better than in game 2. But I mean that Fenerbahce is, pushing him to the ropes. And this was situation, they had the momentum, they had the lead. And I think that they should have closed this one. And in a way, I think that Monaco wasted the opportunity in game 1. That was now with Fenerbahce in game 2.
Exactly, yeah.
But I agree with Gittes here that I agree that Mike sometimes looks, like Nick Kaladis has the upper hand because he's like holding him every freaking time, and Mike is not getting the calls because Nick is like holding his hand and then not doing that, and the refs are not calling that every time. So I think Nick is doing a great job there. But I thought in the fourth quarter, Mike was so on point with not forcing shots, because in game 1 I think he forced sometimes a little more. And now in the fourth quarter, you are down by 9 points, and you kind of and all the momentum is in Fenerbahce hands. But he was finding the right passes for 4 or 5 possessions in a row, and of course then Jordan Lloyd hit that shot to close out the game. But I thought this was a great patience by him and not forcing
he took
shots
only 2 shots.
when he could easily have done so because they were down by 9 points.
Yeah.
And also, in the first quarter and second quarter, when Kalaitis, contested every shot of Mike's, and he made a few of them high difficulty shots, he, I think, understood that, okay, now, that's why I was asking you yesterday about all these hedging, blitzes and all that, because that's what I saw, that they're always kind of doubling him if he plays pick and roll. And he just said, okay, you're going to double me, I'm going to trust my teammates. And the teammates delivered. We got to talk about Donatas Motiejunas. I think you guys, I love what happened in one of our podcasts when one of you said that Donatas Motiejunas might be the factor in this series. And I saw comments, you're only saying that because you're Lithuanian. Nah, F you. F you. Our guys
talk
were
to
right.
me now, man.
Yeah, talk to these guys now, because he's been a factor in game 1 only got taken out because of that smaller lineup, because Sasha Obradović thought, okay, I have to adjust as well. I don't know if it was the right decision now when you think about it.
It wasn't.
No,
it wasn't.
And
he didn't adjust in game two.
You see in the game too, but that they didn't play a small lineup when Fener did.
Yeah, and
Dima was the most consistent Monaco player in the series
right
in
now.
my eyes. But this win of Monaco was the X Factor's win. The X Factors that was addressing before the series. It all started with Jeroen Blossom game just becoming a nightmare for Tarik Biberovic. Then was this. By the way, Matthew Strozel did what just Jakuba Outara did last year in game 2. It feels like Sasha Obradović is just throwing French guy to change the momentum of the series. Matthew Strozel was amazing at the start of the game, pressuring Nick Kalatis, running a pick and roll really well. So it was a huge start for him and for the entire team. I loved how JT worked as a rim protector at the end of the game, and actually in some situations to protect the perimeter in one-on-one situations. We mentioned Motiejunas, Alpha Diallo taking this clutch offensive board with maybe 90 seconds to play and to make that layup after Okobo's miss. Okobo stepped up with playing smarter, I would say. He was quite solid scoring in game 1, but he scored 17, I guess, in game 2, including some important shots in the fourth quarter. And of course, Jordan Lloyd, 11 points in the fourth quarter, and some of the situations, some of the reads he did. In my eyes, he was too nervous in game 1, and especially for some reason, took himself in this emotional matchup against Marko Guduric, playing fighting some personal battles. Now he calmed his game down, and when you look at the guy, you see that he's not fighting only for his team, but for his future. He's on an expiring contract. There is some sort of an uncertainty over his future in Monaco. And in game 2, he delivered, and there was this moment when he threw the dish to JT for an easy dunk, but it was through two guys. Fener, there was Papagiannis, I think, and maybe Scottie Wilbekin, basically blocking his vision blocking his lane to pass the ball. So he just went on the floor, like this, to put that pass, sacrificing his body and just setting up his teammate for this easy dunk. So huge game for Lloyd, and who knows, maybe for his future.
And you ain't gonna mention your guy John Brown? I thought you said X Factors and you mentioned just Jeroen Blossom game, the JB gang. JB was great, but he made mid ranges in the third quarter when Mike again and Ellie and Jordan gave up the ball a couple of times. He made some right shots. Of course, his defense.
11 points. That's huge. His defense is always there, but I couldn't bring up JB's name in a positive note because of the injury concerns. He suffered shoulder injury, and it's very likely that he will be ruled out for the playoff series.
Damn.
To me, it's huge. Wow. To me, it's a huge X factor of the series going forward and heading to Istanbul. So it's
was
most
he
likely
injured before the game or
in the third quarter.
No.
He just went into Dorsey's screen, I think, and he injured his shoulder. That looks bad. So it's most likely that he will miss the series.
We're gonna end this Monaco podcast and speak a bit about Fenerbahce. What do you guys think was the difference here? Because of course we probably weren't expecting that Kalatis would score 17 again or Sistina would score 16. I think Monaco weren't. They adjusted. You said that first game Monaco was pressuring Kalatis for no reason. Now they gave him space. He shot. He made, I think, a 3-pointer, 1-of-1 or something like that. But he always had space to shoot, but he chose to drive in and do what he does. But I feel like, those things are not sustainable. Like, not realistic. We're gonna have Kalatis scoring 17, or do you think otherwise?
I mean, he scored 7, and they were close to win this game. So
Fener were playing great. Look. The start was bad because Monaco, like I said, were just like going crazy in. They were pressuring. Fener couldn't even manage to organize an offense. And this is rare with Šaras teams, a team, and with Nick Kalatis on board, it's rare that a team cannot organize an offense. But Monaco were just pressing so high and so aggressively, they went into this early deficit. I thought that their game, they had, I think, 9 3-pointers in the first half, and they were down because, okay, Monaco scored 54, but we all knew that Monaco couldn't be on this 100-point rhythm.
They had 10
3-pointers in the first half. Yeah, they were playing great. 10 of 17, right. I had this in my notes. I liked Shara's adjustment after Demo played a fantastic first half. He put Nigel Hayes-Davis on Donatas Motiejunas, and one of the centers were on John Brown. And Nigel was in this fight with Demo all the time. These two were barking. And while watching the game, you can hear how they are screaming, "He's holding me. It's a foul. He's holding me. No, ref, look at him." And finally, of course, they got into this, I don't know, let's say, arm hustling for the second time. They called some fouls there. But I thought it was great. An interesting adjustment from Charas. But they could have easily closed it out. And with 2-0, they made some mental mistakes on defense, like miscommunication. The episodes where you were asking me, first time, +9, they don't switch. And then if you saw the next possession, they switched after the timeout because Charas immediately called timeout and they say, just switch there because it was two small guys defending it. And then Nate Sestina on the wrong side of the screen. Blossom game hits that 3-pointer. So I think Fener is playing great. Fener knows what they're doing. It's going to be really tough for Monaco in Istanbul.
But I think Sirius will return to Monaco. That's my prediction.
Even 5. With John Brown not being there?
Yeah, I still think that Monaco will take one game in Istanbul.
I had this as my prediction as well, right before you mentioned John Brown not being there. I mean, he's more than, we know his influence defensively, now even offensively in this game. I don't know. It just changed my opinion of it. I don't know. I was thinking about Jonathan Motley as well, if he would be available, because I think that would be another maybe option to contain Motiejunas if you don't want to play Nigel Hayes-Davis on Motiejunas the whole game. So is there any chance Motley's playing, or is that?
That was the plan to get him ready for game 3, but I think it's still a bit questionable. But we're 2-3 days away from the game, so I'm just not sure about the impact he could give to his team after
this
missing
is just
some time.
Some options.
Of course,
I'm thinking
when you saw Shanli also going down, every other center that is on the lineup is important for Fenerbahce. So
yeah, well, I think it's just we'll see a different vibe for this series in Istanbul, because this season Fenerbahce crowd was amazing in the regular season, and I can't wait to see what they do on playoffs, because I think they're going to be great. So I think we're going to be talking about this more hyped up next time we're sitting here.
I don't think, if John Brown is not playing, I don't think this is going to Monaco, to be honest. Although I said Monaco in 5 before, but Fener is playing amazing basketball and
huge character they're showing. I mean, it's impossible to beat them. Monaco had so many great runs in both games, and they didn't survive. Didn't raise the white flag. So
of course, Mike can just go out, score 30, dish out 10 assists
easily.
Yeah, you never know.
But Fener is doing a great job with him. So I don't know. Peter Cornelia time.
By the way,
he's
crazy.
Sponsoring me, guys.
To see Kemba Walker on
with his regular clothes on.
Yeah, but he's the most positive guy in the room with Terry Terpe. I mean, he's so supportive, giving all these advices, sitting there cheering for all of his teammates and taking the situation as a pro. He's not, because of the situation, he's not a cancer in the locker room. He's not complaining. He's just accepting the situation.
Wait, Donatas, did you not predict before the series 3-2 Fenerbahce?
Yeah, Fener
and now you're saying 3-2 Monaco.
No.
He says
I said that
back.
Series returns to Monaco, and that's where Fenerbahce will close it down.
You would like that, no? I think they promised you a nice after party.
I mean,
even if they lose.
If Fener wins, the after
even
party
if they lose,
better after party is in Istanbul, not in Monaco.
I don't know. I think in Monaco you'll find your way there.
To me, it won't be a problem in Monaco, that's for sure.
All right.
Will you find your way back home if it finishes in Istanbul?
That's a tough one. Istanbul is tricky. I never had any nightlife experience in Istanbul though, so we'll see.
Oh, the most exciting series. Yes, we should talk about the most
Oh,
exciting series of the
Baskonia
playoffs.
Madrid.
Great game by Real Madrid. Go to Partizan now.
I mean, it's crazy. I don't know if you watched the game actually, but the first quarter took like 30 minutes maybe. With these shot clock situations, that was just horrible look to already unexciting series. So, Madrid.
Can we agree that we're going to talk about Real Madrid a lot when it's the Final Four time? Because right now, there's just not much to talk
Let's
about.
make disagreements.
Because I think we're going to see a sweep, the only sweep in this playoffs, obviously. And I don't think there's much need to discuss the games that we've seen partially. I don't know.
Partially. Is a good description.
There's, I think, levels to this. And I think Baskonia can just be happy that they made it to the playoffs
They
through the
overachieved
play-in.
already. Yeah.
Now they're playing without Monaco. So you have this as well. So, yeah. I don't know what to talk about here.
You were nice.
I don't know, man.
But
I mean, Real
this
Madrid's
is Baskonia, man. This is Duškonia. They will steal one game in Vitoria.
That's what I predicted.
They will prove Basque character and personality.
Are you saying this because you got hats?
I'm saying this because I got a hat, and also I picked Madrid in 4, so I will stick to that.
Same.
Okay. Partizan signing Željko to a new 2-year extension.
Wow, the disrespect.
And let's take a look at potential off-season moves that they can do in order to improve their team. Although I thought that, it would have been a different conversation if they signed Mirotic, as it was supposed to happen actually. But sports in Europe, basketball in Europe especially, is very interesting thing. But anyways, Augustas actually did a nice breakdown of potential Partizan off-season moves that they could do to improve their situation. But the entire article was available only for BN Plus members. So subscribe to BN Plus on basketnews.com/plus. But yeah, let's start with the additions you think could make Partizan better, because there was this important note that I have for this segment. Following the news of Željko's extension, Partizan's president, Stoja Mijailovic, on TV Pirva, hinted about roster changes, and he said there will be loud reinforcements. Loud. What is loud to you, and what loud makes sense to you? In a situation where we have Kevin Punter, star shooting guard, and Zach Lidey, I mean, an amazing power forward.
That's the guys who are under contract and
core players.
That's your core.
And we have a lot of uncertainties over the center position, point guard position, and small forward position. So,
I don't know. My first thought was like, okay, I'm really happy. First of all, Željko, we're going to have for another 2 years in the EuroLeague. That's never a bad thing. But more importantly, after this statement about loud enforcements, I was thinking, what was their biggest issue this season? And I think it was the Matthias Lazor departure. So I think this is the main part to address. So we're looking at centers, I think. Frank Kaminsky's contract is expiring. Alan Smailagić's contract is expiring. So those two guys, I don't know if you want to keep one of them as your backup.
There's Caboclo as well.
And Caboclo is expiring as well.
I'm not sure if it's expiring, but I mean, he's...
But you have him.
I think it's not.
Yeah, okay. He's not in the list that I'm looking at.
Okay.
So basically, I think this is, you need to find your starting center. And with loud, I don't know, like, are you looking at other EuroLeague teams? Are you looking outside of the EuroLeague? That's what I want to hear your insights, because you probably have been talking.
Okay, if we start with centers. So who are the lead centers on expiring contracts? Eddie Tavares. But he is, first of all, too expensive. Although, I mean, with Mirotic almost happened, you never know in Partizan. But from what I hear, Eddie Tavares is either Real Madrid or the NBA. And then there is Josh Nebo. But as Chema De Lucas reported, he's closing down a 2-year agreement with Milan. So he's ruled out.
Going to play and not be seen for the next 2 years.
God bless Josh Nebo.
How do they make those mistakes? I don't understand.
And there are 2 interesting names. Oh, you mean Flash?
Flash
play.
Okay.
They like the Flash play
because
there.
the Flash, yeah. And there are these 2 interesting names. First of all, Serge Ibaka. That's an interesting pick, and to me it would be pretty loud signing if he goes to Partizan. And also Vincent Poirier, another interesting case if Madrid can pay him if they manage to extend Eddie Tavares. There are some other bigs like Nicola Melli on expiring contract. Tornike Šengeli has a buyout, but it might be a significant buyout for Partizan. John Motley, Oturu expiring contracts, but I don't consider them as potentially loud reinforcements. So what do you think about Poirier's or Ibaka's fit in Partizan?
I would like it. Probably even Poirier.
Who do you like more?
Poirier more than Ibaka.
I mean, I like to think of Ibaka as a guy who can stretch the floor because he can, and Poirier, not so much.
But Matthias Lazor was there. He wasn't stretching
I know,
the floor.
right? Yeah, that's true. And another French guy, loads of energy, an energy guy, which they were exactly what they were.
They have a good track record of energetic French guys in Partizan, right?
Laverne was there as well at some point, but that was
he made it to the NBA also.
Yeah.
And Matthias Lazor was there.
Yeah. So I think I would go with I would go with Poirier. Yeah, the way he was playing this season. Would you?
I'm a bit concerned about Ibaka's potential health or load management issues. I don't know. The guy is veteran, and Vincent Poirier to me makes more sense for a long-term contract if that's possible. And his profile, I think that he fits Partizan team perfectly.
But at the same time, I think they will be really looking at the NBA market. But I just hope they don't make the same mistake as they did last year to wait until the August, until the start of the season to start the season without basically a defensive center.
It's hard to call it as a mistake when all the roster was built around, and the concept of the roster was built around Nikola Mirotic, basically. So it completely changed the thing. It potentially, took away their targets that they had in the market, which is not rich if you're looking for a center. At least that's my perspective.
But even with Mirotic, you would have needed a center.
They had I would say agreements in place already for centers. I mean, if Mirotic happened, two more guys were about to join Partizan that they didn't.
Okay.
So it was kind of all set, but it just collapsed because of Mirotic.
Yeah, so...
But I see your point. Yeah, you cannot be that late in any situation.
In this article, I had resigning Željko as first, signing a defensive center as second point, and third one was just basically...
A guard.
Get one or two 3-and-D type of wings. And this is where the profile of Bonzi Colson, not him, but he would be allowed signing, I would agree. He would fit in perfectly there. But just he or just his type of players. And I would prefer even more than one. Because, you want to have these guys that don't need really the ball that much. And he's great at playing without the ball. And I think he would be allowed reinforcement. And just he would fit in perfectly with Punter and Lide and all those guys. He's just amazing player on both sides of the court. Deflections, three-pointers, can post up smaller guys. Great in closeout situations. This type of player.
I would really think about the guard there. I feel like we...
Can I interrupt you for a second? Just, I will throw a few small forward names that I've checked. There's Mario Hezonja on expiring contract. Will Clyburn on expiring contract, Nikola Kalinic on expiring contract, and it fits the second sentence that was said by Mihailovic. We will also consider Serbian players as we assemble a team ready to compete for trophies. The problem is that Kalinic is a Red Star guy.
Yeah.
He already rejected Partizan when they signed Željko, and he was inviting him to Partizan. At the same time, now we're talking about the EuroLeague team, not the Eurocup team. And who knows? I'm just speculating. Who knows about his previous experience in Zvezda and if he changed his mind regarding a possibility to join to Partizan. But he would be ideal piece to this Partizan team. But let's say he's the Red Star guy until he dies and he's not coming. There are two more buyout candidates, Juancho Hernan Gomez, with his uncertain future in Panathinaikos. And there's this interesting thing about Siobhan Shields changing agents, although he's still under the contract with Milan. But I'm just not sure if that's possible during his current contract, his profile, and etc. But yeah,
that would be loud.
That's what I consider loud. What about the guards?
I just feel like you guys were talking about the whole season about how Partizan is missing a guard next to Kevin Punter, someone to create offense besides the one guy, because last year they had Exum, who was able to do some of that. Avramovic is a good option off the bench, I think. But I think if we're talking loud reinforcements, I would expect like a playmaker there in the mix as well. But I don't know. Maybe you see it differently. But I feel like you've been talking about this. Maybe I'm wrong about them missing one guard in the point guard.
I mean, that's been a talk for
the last
2
2
years
years
already, but that's the thing with Željko. There's no such thing as a real point guard on his team. Last year it was Dante Exum. He has ball handlers, and he saw PJ Dozier as a type of a ball handler that fits Partizan. The project Dozier didn't succeed in my eyes, and if they're really looking forward to improve the backcourt, and if they're looking for loud reinforcements, there is a nice list of potential point guard additions, although I would say it's quite limited because, on expiring contracts, we have Mike James, Shane Larkin, Keenan Evans. Keenan Evans will make Olympiacos fans happy. And regarding Mike and Shane, from what I hear, it's the most likely scenario is that they will stay with their teams.
Will resign.
So we have 3 star point guards off the market. Cody Miller-McIntyre, expiring contract. I don't consider him as a loud reinforcement, although he had a great season. Nick Kalatis on expiring contract. A tall point guard who was, I think, already rumored, or at least, it was Serbian media, so who knows, but he might fit the profile. Other than that, not much. Kendrick Nunn, expiring contract. Tyler Dorsey, a buyout candidate, probably.
But we're not talking about any of the NBA guys, so maybe with loud reinforcements.
Exactly. That might be the case. That's where I expect Partizan to make move, because Zoran Savic, in an interview I did during the season, mentioned that it makes way more sense to look for the NBA market because of the prices. These guys in Europe who established themselves, they're overpriced already. And for a club like Partizan, you have to look for alternatives. And who knows, maybe there's Serge Ibaka coming. Maybe there's another Jabari Parker, Kendrick Nunn on a lower price. So yeah, that's what might be it. Although there are 2 X factors that I have. 2 Maccabi guys under contracts. Lorenzo Brown, rumored to go to Spain, and given his Spanish password, probably is more likely. And I was thinking about Wade Baldwin as a tall guard that could fit Željko's style and profile that he's looking. He's also under the contract, but we know the situation in Tel Aviv. I mean, until this day, nobody knows if they will be able to play in front of their fans, which means losing a lot of money if it won't happen. And, who knows how these star players feel about the safety playing in Tel Aviv, continue playing in Tel Aviv, giving all these situations, with Palestine and even with Iran. I mean, a lot of stuff is going on. So,
and Wade's already warming up to those Belgrade rims. So,
what do you think about Baldwin's fit in Partizan?
I mean, I think anybody would love to have him on their team. He's been on MVP type of play for this season, for the last season, especially in the second halves. Just to have him to add the potential that he has offensively to an already potent offense, that would be huge. And at the same time, he has the size and ability to defend a little bit. So I think Željko would really know how to deal with him. And why I think he fits even more is because he's a driver. And I think that was what at least I was missing from PJ Dozier, because he's more of a jump shooting guy, the mid-range guy. And he was great there, but I thought without Dante Exum on that team, I missed the slashing dribbles, I'm going to drive in and kick it out to my teammates, create the offense this way. So I think Wade would be perfect here.
Yeah, although I would really hope that both Zoe and Wade stays in Maccabi and makes this team a really solid team. It was really joyful experience to watch them play and to watch them leading the team in the last 2 years. So yeah.
And for the last segment, we have a quick Instagram, social media things that we need to look
Oh,
at.
you were texting me that it's about to.
Yeah, it's about time to look at those things. BCL is a tournament.
With all the respect, by the way, shout out to Kendrick Perry, the MVP of the tournament. He was on the podcast during the season.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Follow him on YouTube as well. He's one of those YouTube creators.
I'm
happy for the guy.
Yeah. And
Olympiacos is just an amazing this season. I mean, even in the ACB, they're right there at the top. Out of 53 games, they have won 44 this season. And they're playing, Champions League is not as high as EuroLeague, but ACB is incredibly high level. So amazing.
All right. And Coach of the Year,
Vasilis.
Peristeri. Yes, our friend.
Our friend. Let's call him our friend.
Yeah, well, he said he likes what we're doing, so he's our friend, isn't he? Coach of the Year.
Donatas loved the interview.
Amazing. Watch it on, it was a film session.
Yeah.
Watch it on BasketNews YouTube channel.
And also rumors of this Coach of the Year moving to EuroLeague next year, right?
I mean, he's the EuroLeague material for sure. FS is probably not happening, but he's the EuroLeague material for sure. That's what I want to say.
Right. And what else do we have? Team USA won't. What is this? Whose opinion is this?
I don't know.
I don't know. This is BS.
No, this is not an opinion. This is just
you
we
need
have
to
to choose
vote.
false or true.
Big falls?
I mean, yeah, it's just no question. I think, of course, they're gonna
Why?
win the Olympics. Did you see the roster? I mean, maybe I'm being too
Yeah,
positive
Kostas,
about it, but
I think he has something
I don't know.
to say.
who's gonna?
I don't know. It's a statement already. That's a statement.
Yeah,
if
it
you
is.
don't know if they win the Olympics,
I
that's a
don't know.
statement.
They just
I
don't
don't know.
look that unbeatable to me.
We're gonna expand on it on our future podcast. That's for sure.
That's
the
it.
last thing to those, who listen through an entire podcast. That's the credit I want to give to them. I've got an update about the salaries of the EuroLeague referees, and before taxes for the regular season, it's around 2,000. You were completely right. For the playoffs, it's 3,000. So that's what you get when you listen.
How much
until
are
the end.
these? Oh, you don't know because you stole them as well. Oh my God! Let's
Wow.
finish this podcast.
Wow.